how has our like current situation that we're in terms of like COVID-19 and quarantine, how has it impacted your art practice? Mm-hmm. And anyone can go and all can go. Like how has your yes?
I'll definitely go first. I just want to say, you guys, I do like the Traveling Music and Arts Festival. So we go, from city to city to host these shows, to give artists a platform. And we actually like to go to the artists rather than them having to come to us. So, with my company and my brand just caring about public safety, it kind of halted any shows or anything like that. So we've had to find other ways to be creative. And we've actually started a live show like this to where we could still offer artists, a platform, and we still get to know their story. And what I like most about it is that it's actually more personal with, just having that one-on-one conversation with them and getting to actually know who they are so that when we do start our festival back, like, it could be that connection that our, supporters and stuff, like, right, get to know them and actually feel more personal and personable with the pieces that they've created. So that's kind of what COVID has done right now, or the pandemic, whatever you want to call it. It's just kind of struck me to be more creative and to keep digging in my bag and just pulling out tricks I never knew I had. So I really like that.
Yeah, I definitely get that.
I liked what she said. Asia, that was good. That reminds me of the Cosby Show when Hillary was like, "No, dig deeper." She had the dream. The teacher was like, "You got to go further."
Oh, that was Kim.
That was Felicia Rashad.
Was it Felicia Rashad?
Yeah,
okay.
She was telling her friend. Her friend was telling them the story of her having the dream. But it made sense because now, like, we're in this period of nothing but time, and she was in a dream of nothing but time, and she had no choice but to dig deeper.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this time has definitely stretched me. It's funny because in improv, a lot of is about like responding in the moment and staying like open to whatever is happening. And that's easy to teach, but like when it really hits you, that's like different. And so when I got the news, I was like, everything I do was on stages. So I'm thinking like, how am I about to not only survive working wise, but also like just as an artist. And it's funny, my grandmother was actually the one that kind of pushed me because my grandma is a retired teacher and she sells Mary Kay. And like the first week it happened, she called me. She was like, "You got to get over here and put Zoom on so I can do my Zoom Mary Kay meetings and download Duo so she could do her Duo facials." And I was like, now, if my 81-year-old grandma can adjust to this COVID, then I'm gonna have to do it too. And so it's been great. It's really stretched me creatively. I'm doing more with my work, and it's also just changed like how I look at accessibility, right? Like usually accessibility, we talk about that in venue wise and language and things like that, but we don't think about just like access to our programming. And so now it's not just changed like what's happening now, but like how we look at it in general, and like how do I remain accessible after this? So it stressed me creatively. I'm doing more than I've done in a long time. I'm writing more, everything else, and it's just changing the framework about how I even approach my art, and more important, approach my community.
It's interesting how some of the most challenging times could like make us help us to be like more creative, because we actually have to like think outside of whatever that comfort level is. And I think some of the most beautiful art that can be created comes out of that.
Most stuff.
Absolutely. I'm curious from more of the visual artists, how you've been impacted by this. I could definitely understand Ty, even Cameron and Asia, because so much of your work depends on like, it's like set with audiences. It's set with like usually like large groups, like the Trap House exhibitions, or doing an improv or stand up or putting on a play. How has this time been, for example, for you, Marjani?
I feel like for this time, I feel like I've been creating a lot more. I think that I have no distractions of anything from the outside. I've come up with a whole bunch of new ideas, which I'm really excited about. And I think it's also because I also live in my studio, as you know. Like, I live in my studio, so I'm able to still continue to do work. It's not like I live apart from my studio, which I know a lot of people have that as well. So I'm grateful that I live there. But I've honestly just been making a lot more work. I feel like I've been a lot more creative. I've been having a lot of ideas, and I've just been spending a lot of time with myself, which I feel like, as I said before, is very important for me. But yeah, I'm like chilling, you know.
Yeah, I feel like there's going to be so much too that comes from this particular time period as artists that we're going to be like, I need to set time for this. I know that I've been doing more painting and creating and tapping into that aspect of myself. And it has nourished me and nourished my spirit in a way that it's just like, you know what, no matter what happens, even when whatever gets back to rush, I need to set aside time where it's just like, this is uninterrupted time, no matter what. Even if I don't have an idea at that moment, I'm just going to sit right there in front of the canvas and just like meditate on whatever. Making that time is important.
Absolutely.
What are some of the things that you are seeing as like, because I one of the patterns that I'm hearing from everyone is like more time, being more creative, and I think that from different times and different spaces in history, there's certain art that comes out of that. Like there's like, whether it's a renaissance or there's a particular focus on this model, or like people are thinking more deeply. Are you guys seeing any trends in your particular line of work, in your particular field, about how people are adapting?
Oh, you want to go ahead? Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know if anybody know it kicked me off for a little while, and I couldn't see what's talking. But yeah, I'm saying, I think people are being more creative, being more resourceful. This is like I always say, like a way to creativity is the lack thereof. So we don't have you have a reason to be creative. So I think people are definitely tapping more into their creativity by trying to figure out how they can work around this this speed bump. So I see a lot more of that. People being more innovative with things like the world has seen the D-Nice DJ show, and virtual art galleries, marketplaces and things like that. So everybody's trying to do their best to cope with it, but I think people are being very, very, very creative with it as well. Like it's a guy I follow on Instagram. His name is Diz Wayne, and he did something called a stay-at-home festival where he had people tune in and talk, and people perform and show artwork, and I thought that was really cool. So yeah, so big ups to him.
Nice. Stay-at-home festival. That's interesting. I saw an Instagram post that I sent to my kid's dance teacher, and what they did is they went to this empty parking lot, and all of the cars, they came up in a circle. And the dancers got out of the cars, and they were all spread out in their different like car. I think they measured it by the how there's lines in the parking lot from where the car ends, and then there's the corner where it meets. So they were all spread out, all 14 dancers. And then their dance coach just played the music from them practicing, and it was audience, it was nighttime, all of the lights were on the center of these youth dancing, and they are performing, and it was just like, I would love to see that. I would love to see that. So Marquette, please get ideas.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. I just said to my roommate, I was like, this sucks, I want to do a flash mob. I'm like, Rasheem and them are doing the curbside serenades, and they want me to dance, but I'm just like, I just don't, I feel like me just dancing is a good vibration.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like that's not something that is a one person situation. I feel like that still needs to be a touch. So I was like, wouldn't it be cool if we did like a mini flash mob of like 10 dancers on the street for that block, you know what I mean? Like walking with newspapers or something, you know, just not just for one person.
Right.
You know what I mean?